Hello, welcome everyone to the Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. I am your host, Millennial Realtor, Jalon Strong. Welcome. Please come in, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. We would love to see our subscribers increase to 200. We are at 156, so please subscribe to the channel today. Welcome to all of you who are coming back or any of you that are new to our channel. You can also follow us on other social media pages. We have pages on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. Now let's talk about our link in the description, highlight of the week. We will be talking about and we have several preferred lenders, but there is a link that is available at the site that is moving about at the bottom of the screen. That website is beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. I update any of our affiliate links or content or products to that site. So if you want to go to that site, favorite it, bookmark it so that you can keep up with anything we're doing or any way to get in contact with us or things that we have going on. Once you go to that site, you will see a tab that says our preferred lender and ask about their grant program. You are welcome to find a lender of your choosing. If you feel like you a client or you're looking for a lender, feel free to click that tab and get in contact with our preferred lender. Our preferred lenders make our preferred lender list because they've established a business rapport with us that we feel is best for our ideal clients. So it doesn't mean you have to use the lender. Looking for a lender, we encourage you to shop around and try preferred lenders. Definitely ask about the grant program so that you can see how to access some free funds type of scenario. So make sure that you ask lenders about grant programs. Not every lender has a grant program or access to a grant program, depending on how they work, but feel free to ask our preferred lender. Now we're going to talk briefly about the newest link for a separate business called Crown First Lady. This is a business that I created separate from Dreams to Keys Realty that is focused on a product called First Lady Scalp Oil. This is a product that I formulated myself and used on myself initially so that I can combat my alopecia journey. Excuse me. I was having issues with my scalp. My scalp was inflamed. I was diagnosed with 2 different forms of alopecia, and I was just struggling with how to deal with that. And of course, I went to doctors. Doctors always want you to be on something that you're going to need to be on lifelong. And I just felt like that was not the right route for me. That's not the right approach for me, or not the approach I wanted to take. So over time, I developed this formula and it's been working for me. I still use it. And I've had others ask me about it to the point that we now have the business Crown First Lady. So if you're interested in trying a new product, maybe you have some scalp irritation, or you're just looking for something to improve your scalp, because we know that the scalp is the breeding ground for how your hair will grow. If you have an irritated, inflamed, or a bad growing environment, essentially for your hair doesn't grow as it could. So if you're interested in trying anything like that, feel free to go to crownfirstlady.net and you can purchase the 1 ounce, which is our travel or sample size bottle. And you can also purchase the full size, which is the 4 ounce bottle of the First Lady Scalp Oil. We would love to fulfill your orders and would love to see you write reviews about how your experience was and is with our product, and would love to see you tell others about it as well. So that is crownfirstlady.net. All right, so let's talk about dtkrealty.com. We are phasing out some physical products. So there is an automatic discount on the website for 70% off of all physical products on dtkrealty.com. At the end of the year, none of them will be available. We're not talking right now about any ebooks or anything that's not considered a physical product. But if you want any of the shirts, crew necks, hoodies, journals from the My Dreams Have Keys collection, this is your time to get them, because you will not be able to get them after the new year comes in. I may still give them to clients or customers here and there as gifts, but as far as purchasing any of those products, they will no longer be available. So if you are interested in any of those products, feel free to get them now, especially with the automatic discount of 70% off. Now let's jump into why we're here. We're going to talk about market data. We just covered the market data for Gwinnett County. We're going to look at Dekalb County now. And earlier we covered the step 12 of bingo to homeownership. So you've got some other videos. If you haven't already checked those out, feel free to go and check them out after this. I'm going to go on the avatar just because we tend to have issues with sharing the screen and the video kind of slowing up. Hopefully everyone can see the screen now. Just in the same fashion as we've always covered these videos, we talk from top to bottom. This is the local market update for October 2025. I know we're a little behind, but we're going to get there. And also we're going to change some things up going into 2026. But this is courtesy of the First Multiple Listing Service, FastStats. I have access to this as a licensed real estate agent. We are going to be talking about the zip code that we covered last video for Dekalb County, which is 30341. It includes Atlanta and Chamblee in this county. So I'm also going to be reviewing what you see on the screen for October, but I'm also going to look at September just to see what was different then from what we're looking at now. There are two property types that we review: residential detached and residential attached, and we cover the same metrics month to month and year to date. Let's start with residential detached. For the new listings for October 2024, it was 15. For October 2025, it was 26, showing an increase of 73.3%. For pending sales, October 2024 was 14. For October 2025, it was 16, showing an increase of 14.3%. For closed sales, for October 2024, it was 8. For October 2025, it was 17, showing an increase of 112.5%. Now let's stop and pause. Statistically, looking at these percentage changes, I would say there is a statistical significant difference for new listings and closed sales. There are definitely more new listings and closed sales than there were in 2024 for October. And we have a slight increase for pending sales, though I wouldn't say that that is statistically significant. These numbers are approaching more of what I'm used to seeing for residential detached. However, the numbers that I'm used to seeing for Gwinnett County and Dekalb County differ, and they also differ based on the zip code. If you know what we covered for Gwinnett just prior to this video, you kind of see what I mean when I say these numbers are a little bit closer to what I'm used to. But nonetheless, we are seeing more new listings and more pending sales and closed sales for October 2025. Let's look at what September looked like. I'm not sure why it always jumps to the bottom for pulling up the next data, but for September 2025 for residential detached, so going back up, it was 31 listings, 19 pending sales, and 22 closed sales. So how does that fare to October? Very close, I would say, though October is less than what was going on with September. All right, moving on to days on market until sale. For October 2024, it was 9. For October 2025, it was 21, showing an increase of 133.3%. Now, days on market until sale typically is not the metric you want to see go up, especially if you are a seller. But I would say these numbers are quite low still and could still be considered to be in a seller's market, leaning more into a neutral category as we go to October 2025. the percentage change is statistically significant. For median sales price, we had for October 2024, $570,000. For October 2025, $630,000, showing an increase of 10.5%. We do have an asterisk for this column, or this category. So there are some things we cannot consider, such as seller concessions and down payment assistance. That asterisk also applies for the next two metrics. But we do see that median sales price, being the middle point of all the sales prices, has increased as we go to October 2025. For average sales price for October 2024, it was $750,000, $750,625. For the average sales price for October 2025 was $747,759. So it decreased slightly at 0.4%. For percent of list price received for October 2024, it was 100.2%. For October 2025, it was 98.3%, showing a decrease of almost 2%. Both of these numbers are quite high, one being over 100, which is the October 2024 percentage. And the theoretical ideal percentage here is 100%. So we've surpassed that for October 2024, and we're still quite close to it in October 2025. The theory here is that if the properties are listed correctly, they will be purchased at their list price, and we will be as close to 100% as possible. However, just like the other two metrics above, there is an asterisk here. So there are some things we cannot take into consideration for this metric either. Let's look at September and see what happened. For days on market until sale, it was 36. Median sales price was $584,950. $584,950. And for the average sales price, it was $783,309. The percent of list price received was 98.8%. So that's a bit higher than we see now. And our median sales price is higher in October 2025. The average sales price is higher in September 2025. The average being looking at all the sales prices and dividing it by those sales. So dividing it by the 8 sales for October 2024 and the 17 for October 2025. Inventory of homes for sale was 29 for October 2024 and 53 for October 2025, showing an increase of 82.8%. The month supply of inventory was 1.8 for October 2024 and 3.7 for October 2025, showing an increase of 105.6%. So this means the inventory of homes for sale is including the new listings plus those homes that did not sell from previous months that are still on the market. So we have more inventory of homes for sale in October 2025, which is statistically significant compared to October 2024. And because we have that increase, we expect there to be a higher month supply of inventory. So whereas it was less than 2 months of time that would be needed to sell the inventory for October 2024, we're just under 4 months for October 2025 for that inventory. Now I'm going to pause and look at September briefly and see where we were. And then I'm going to see if we have any questions in the comment section. So the inventory of homes for sale was 61 in September 2025 and 4.3 for month supply of inventory for September 2025. So we have, let me look at that again. We have less inventory of homes for sale. So we made some sales, which has also dropped our month supply of inventory going into October. Now let's see if we have any questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I will review them and respond, even if you're watching on the replay. All right, so now let's go to year to date. All right, year to date for New listings through October 2024 was 240. Through October 2025 was 298, showing an increase of 24.2%. Excuse me. For pending sales through October 2024 was 181. Through October 2025 was 158, showing a decrease of almost 13%. For closed sales, through October 2024, it was 167. Through October 2025, it was 149, showing a decrease of about 11%. So what we see here, we have more new listings this year than last year this time. And then we have less pending and closed sales this year than last year this time. And I would say that the statistical significance is leaning closer to the new listings than any of the other metrics for the year to date that we've covered just now. Now let's look on days on market until sale. Through October 2024, it was 21. Through October 2025, it was 24, showing an increase of 14.3%. That's a 3-day difference. It's still pretty much like in the seller's column, but leaning more toward neutral as we get to October 2025. So not much change there, as there was change for the Gwinnett data that we reviewed. So please check that video out to see what I mean by that. For the median sales price through October 2024, it was $610,000. Through October 2025, it was $649,000, showing an increase of 6.4%. Through October 2024, it was $704,373 for the average sales price and $735,804 for the average sales price of October through October 2025. So that is an increase of 4.5%. So whereas month to month, we had an increase only for the median, for year to date, we have an increase for median and average. Percent of list price received through October 2024 was 99.5%. Through October 2025 was 99%, showing a decrease of 0.5%. Both numbers are very high, very close to 100%, especially given that this is year-to-date data. So there's not much that can be taken from that. Now we're going to review residential attached in a similar fashion. Key metric, new listings. For October 2024, it was 15 and 16 for October 2025, a difference of 1, but a percent change of 6.7%. Pending sales for October 2024 was 8. October 2025 was 9, same difference, but percentage change of 12.5%. Closed sales, October 2024 was 9. October 2025 was 6, a decrease of 33.3%. So we have an increase in pending and new listings, but a decrease in closed sales. And the increases are only by 1. Days on market until sale, October 2024 was 66. October 2025 was 13, showing a decrease that is statistically significant of 80.3%. So going from a very heavy buyer's market at 66 days to more of a seller's, maybe investor's market at 13 days for October 2025. And this is with an additional new listing and less closed sales, but additional pending sale. Now let's look at what September had for these categories before we move on. For September 2025, it was 17 new listings, 7 pending sales, and 11 closed sales with 16 days on market until sale. So we've still dropped days on market since September, and the pending sales, we have more in October. Closed sales, we have more in September, and new listings, we have 1 less in October. So September was slightly higher. So the differences are by 1 across the board there. Median sales price, same asterisk considerations for the next 3 metrics, but for October 2024, it was $335,000. For October 2025, it was $363,450, showing an increase of 8.5% for median sales price. So we do see an increase there. Average sales price for October 2024 was $331,844. For October 2025, it was $358,208, showing an increase of almost 8%. So both the median and average sales prices have increased by a similar percentage. The percent of list price received for October 2024 was 103.5%, and October 2025 was 98%, showing a decrease of 5.3%. So both numbers are still quite high, of course, with the October 2024 increase or percentage being well over 100%, but the October 2025 is still in a good shape, and there's not much that we can take from that. But of course, for October 2024, there were some things that led to the purchase price being more than the list price that we can't really uncover from this metric alone for October 2024. Now let's look at the September data just to see what those differences were. Median sales price was $407,000, and the average sales price was $411,273, and the percent of list price received was 97.6%. So our percent list price received has improved. It's gotten higher, and those average and median sales prices have dropped. So that might be beneficial for someone who's looking in this market and is also combating or comparing their pre-approval and the areas that they want to live in. Let's wrap up the data with the inventory of homes for sale. For October 2024, it was 30, and for October 2025, it was 46, showing an increase of 53.3%, meaning that not only were there more new listings for October 2025, but there were more homes that didn't sell from the previous months that still carried over. Month supply of inventory for October 2024 was 2.6, and for October 2025 was 4.8, showing an increase of 84.6%. This means out of the 30 homes that were for sale in October 2024, it would have taken just under 3 months to sell all of those properties based on the movement of the market. And for the 46 properties that were available in October 2025, it would have taken just under 5 months to sell all of those properties. So given the movement of the markets and the fact that we had less closings, that could also contribute to why the month supply of inventory is higher for October 2025. We're going to close this out month to month by seeing what September looked like. So it was 47 homes for sale for September 2025, and it would have taken 5 months. So we're pretty much there with the 46 and the 4.8. Now let's look at the year to date before we finish off with the graphs. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions. Don't see any yet, but if you have any, feel free to put them in the comment section and I will address them as I see them, even if it's on the replay. All right, let's finish up the year-to-date data. So through October 2024, there were 189 new listings. Again, this is all under residential attached. Through year-to-date, through October 2025, it was 208 new listings. So that's a percentage increase of 10.1%. Pending sales through October 2024 was 131, and through October 2025 was 99, showing a decrease of 24.4%. Closed sales through October 2024 was 117. Through October 2025 was 92, showing a decrease of 21.4%. Days on market until sale through October 2024 was 35. Through October 2025 was 42, showing an increase of 20%. So this is meaning that the only thing that was pretty much, or the only things that were the same trend month to month and year to date were new listings. We have more new listings now than last year across the board, month to month and year to date, as well as closed sales. We have a decrease in closed sales month to month and year to date. So more properties on the market, but not closing as much. And then we also see for our pending sales, an inverse type of situation. We have more pending sales, though it only went up by 1 when we look month to month, but we have less pending sales when we look year to date. For days on market until sale, we see that we are moving out of the neutral zone, more into the buyer's market when we look at year to date. But when we looked at month to month, it looked very much like a seller or an investor type of market. Median sales price through October 2024 was $335,000. Through October 2025 was $319,900, showing a decrease of 4.5%. For average sales price through October 2024 was $383,937. Then through October 2025, it was $365,286, showing a decrease of almost 5%. Percent of list price received through October 2024 was 99%. Through October 2025 was 97.8%, showing a decrease of 1.2%. So this means that we see the opposite when it comes to the median sales price as far as percentage changes. We saw month to month that they were going up about 8%, whereas when we look at year to date, they're going down by about 4 to 5%. Percent list price received, both went down, but however, they're still quite high numbers. We're not looking at numbers like 50, 60, 70s. We're still in the upper 90s. So we're still in a good shape when we look at the percent of list price received. Now let's end it all off with the graphs at the bottom, which kind of sum up the median sales price. It sums up the median sales price for both property types, but on a rolling 12-month calculation starting as far back as January 2014. You see the gray lines are the all MLS and the green lines are the zip codes, or the zip code that we have been reviewing, which is 30341. So when you look at the graph on the left, which is residential detached, you see that the graphs never touch and that the zip code 30341 stays well above the all MLS at all points. Whereas on the right, for the residential attached properties, you see that they cross at different points or connect at different points, and there's a big spike around the pandemic time. So we see that the first time they connect is about early 2015. Then they kind of stay very close around 2016, 2017. Then we see that the zip code starts to take off above the all MLS and takes a big spike just after 2020 and goes through a few bumps back down toward where the all MLS is soaring, just kind of on a steady diagonal. And they connect again just before 2024, and then again just before 2025. And of course, because these are rolling 12-month calculation graphs, the data that we reviewed above is where this graph ends for both of these graphs. I'm going to stop sharing now and see if there are any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the description box. Trying to see if the video will keep up with me, but please put them in the comment section, not the description box. Please put them in the comment section. Thank you all for joining. And once again, following with me as we go through market data. We've done market data all year. And thank you all for your patience as we cover some of the months in a later time frame, just to see how things have been, how they've settled, and how different zip codes look. If you compare this zip code to a zip code we've covered earlier in 2025, you can kind of see how things are quite different now than they once were in earlier months. And even as we compare September to October, there's slight differences going on, and there's year-to-date differences going on. There's definitely differences when you compare different counties. So we cover Gwinnett and Dekalb County, which is why we have different videos dedicated to a zip code to each county, because there are differences that are noticeable from within a county and across counties. So it's important that if you're someone who's interested in this market area that we service, that you consider where you want to live And not only if this is not your forever area or your forever home that you're moving into, then you consider what it would mean if you're a seller in this market. Are you prepared to withstand those days on market until sell potentially? And we don't really know what it could look like when you're ready to sell, but those are some things to just keep in mind. What are some things that buyers are looking for? What have they been looking for over time? What would pique their interest? What's the price point? Is your property likely to appreciate? What are some things to do to make your property appreciate? We can consider talking about so many more of those topics as we get into 2026 because we're going to make some changes on the platform and we're going to talk about some sustainability, some green options, things like that. So if you're interested in that type of content, you definitely want to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss when we get into those topics. We're going to shake things up in 2026 because we want to grow and we want to make sure that our ideal clients are those that we're reaching. So if you're someone who is interested in this type of content, please share it on your pages. We're also on other social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Substack. And we want to make sure that we reach all of you and all of those that are interested in home ownership, whether that means you're buying or selling. Of course, a lot of our things have been tailored toward the buyers so that those that are not so confident in the market could have some bite-sized pieces of information across our videos and across our channel that can help them get more comfortable into getting into the market, becoming those first-time home buyers, or even getting back into the market if you've been out for some time and you're interested in buying another residential property. Nevertheless, whatever you are interested in, feel free to subscribe to this channel because you never know when we'll cover that or when something that piques your interest or someone that you know is interested in will be covered on our channel. I don't see any questions, so I thank everyone for joining the live, and we'll see you in 2026 when we cover some new material in a different way. And we hope that you all have a great holiday season, that you enjoy our content on this channel, and that you're safe as we enter into the new year. This is Dreams to Keys Realty, where your dreams turn into keys. I am Jelon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor, and I'm going to say goodbye for 2025, and I'll see you next time in 2026.